So here we are in the Blue Horse Gallery in the north end of Salt Spring Island, and we're with Anna Gustafson and Paul Burke. And these people, have just done an amazing job here. And we were just talking coming up how it seems transformed again. When I first came, it was pretty fantastic, and it's just even more beautiful. So it's a treat to come up to your wonderful gallery here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, well, we've been working hard for 14 years to transform, first of all, the landscape, and then to create the gallery, and add on to the gallery, and then to create a pond, and to create a place for outdoor work. And now Anna's doing paintings, and so the work keeps changing.
And so it sounds like it's a very organic thing, because you were here, then you're there, and then you're back here, and so you're massaging this, and we were talking about that with the pond.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're not restricting ourselves to possibilities.
Yeah. So it's like a permaculture.
I guess.
You're growing. Yeah.
Permaculture. I never thought about that.
Yeah. It's in your life.
Yeah. Well, our work has changed over the years. I work in wood, and my pieces were quite primitive and folk art, and hence the name of our gallery, Blue Horse Folk Art Gallery, which we think maybe is a bit outdated now, but my pieces have become more three-dimensional. And also now I have some bronze work.
Oh, good. Well, we can talk about that too.
Some of my pieces have been translated into bronze.
Well, let's talk about this piece right here, because this is very fun.
This is a piece that has been worked on over the last couple months, and we're ready to take it to Toronto. And
so this is a show.
This is our show that we're about to embark on in Toronto in a private home. So Charlotte is our invitation girl. She's the one who's going to bring the people in the door for us.
She's got the newspaper, everything.
She has, and she has a lot of biography that we have created for her. It's kind of come together, and we're not going to be telling everybody all the details of her life, but it was a lot of fun for us.
Okay, well, she's brought her dog and a parrot.
Yeah, Victor, named after Victor Hugo. She's a Parisian, and she has an Amazonian parrot.
Oh my God, I feel like a book's happening.
She has been at the booksellers on the left bank.
Yes.
And picked up a couple relevant books, old books, and Le Perroquet de Flaubert, and Les Fables de La Fontaine, and both of those will go in her library back at her apartment.
Oh my
and we'll have to now rotate my body and indicate also down here. I don't know if you can see this. It's not really set up properly, but the year is 1952. She is watching her other parrot, whose name Papagayo is a sulfur-crested cockatoo watching the television, and this is the part of the whole story is that, which we may not go into right now, but there's a story about her and her parrot, and a big sort of story that's in the newspaper, and Anna has created over here, over there, a front page of Le Monde.
Of course.
And so this story about the parrot saving the president's life.
Oh,
and this parrot,
saving the president's life.
And the piano.
This is better than Madeline.
Yes. So anyway, we're having a lot of fun with our work, and this is a truly collaborative piece.
Yeah.
And we really, we're doing it as much for ourselves as we are for anyone who will come to the show.
Yeah. So otherwise, Anna, you work in clay.
I work in clay, and I also paint. And my painting is primarily in caustic. Oh, but I'm going to say, I found a book in a bookstore.
Yes.
In my dream, and it was a book of 9 short stories, and this is from one of the stories in the book.
So this is a beginning of the dream, or this is part. So will you have a series? Will you have a series of paintings to talk about?
There is a series, and I've sold some of them, but these are. I have one more that I really need to do. And then this will be finished.
So you said that this is encaustic.
Encaustic.
Could you talk about that?
So encaustic is a very old medium for paint. I think the first example is 1000 BC.
Yes.
From the Egyptian tombs. And it's the medium to hold the pigment is beeswax.
Yeah.
So I make my own paint with beeswax and Damar resin from the Damar tree of Singapore.
Can I feel it?
Yeah.
Here, let's lift it up so you can see it.
So you're working hot?
I'm working hot.
Yeah.
And I work...
I love the feel.
This is a silhouette of Edgar Allan Poe. Anna has done a whole series about Poe, and that's his actual handwriting.
Transferred, yeah.
So I work on plaster. So I take my boards and then I plaster it, and then I draw on with graphite, and then it's the encaustic, and then the colors. This is natural beeswax, and I also use filtered beeswax. It's the pollen that gives it this color.
Do you always work in encaustic, or do you bring other mediums into your paintings?
I was working with acrylic, and there's some over there. I just have become more and more interested in elemental materials. Like clay is
earth. There you are. Yeah.
And so, and I'm less and less interested in plastic.
This is the story in the dream.
This is part of the dream too.
Oh.
So it's really about a plantsman and his the love between him and his wife that he met while they were both working in Kew Gardens during the Second World War.
Oh my God, this is quite a dream.
And
I think a book needs to come out of this too.
I'm trying to write it. I'm a terrible writer.
But this definitely works. Here's your story.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful pieces.
These are her memories of watching him working, of meeting him, of when they first met in the Kew Gardens.
Being helpful.
You are. You're a terrific Vanna White.
This is an example of the raku in a whole different way.
Yeah.
And
so when I built this pot, this clay was white.
Yes.
These squares I made separately by marbling slip.
Yes.
And then I picked up the slip with paper, and then when it dries to the same consistency as the pot, I cut it up and then burnish clay to clay. And when it's completely dry, I peel the paper away. So these patterns are made with a different color of clay.
Wow.
And then I've glazed these squares and the inside, but the rest I left. Escoffier was a great chef in France, and my father is a pastry chef, so I grew up in helping make pastries.
Right.
I was a finisher, and I would cake decorator, so I know how to do work with a pastry bag. And when I was doing those pieces, I forgot to put the slip away. So it thickened. Instead of being like heavy cream, it was like buttercream. And I thought, this is like buttercream. So I ran and got my pastry bag and put it in there. And so I draw these lines one at a time with the pastry bag.
Oh my gosh.
So
ode to your father.
So I named this after Escoffier because he was the
great chef.
And he was really into
and this is a spin-off of this idea. Same idea using the herringbone. Yeah. Just beautiful. Well, thank you so much, both of you. It's been a real treat being in Blue Horse Folk Art Gallery, and good luck with your show in Toronto and all summer long. You're on the studio tour, so that's great. People can pick up the studio tour guide here, and also go onto our Google map, and you're on there and click right into your website too. So that's great. Well, it's really been a pleasure being in your gallery.
Congratulations on this project.